Okay, so in January, my sister got engaged, and as a wedding present, I offered to buy her dream wedding dress. She picked something out around 3.5K, which I happily paid. We shopped for it together, and when she first tried it on, it looked great. Now, with the pandemic and everything, my sister's wedding has been postponed to next spring. But last week, she approached me with a request for another $600 because she wants to get the dress altered more. She's gained some weight over the past months, and now she can't fit into the dress. Maybe I was a little too blunt here, but when she first told me the dress doesn't fit anymore, I was like, so? Your wedding is still almost a year away. Just lose the weight by then. She got extremely upset at me and told our parents that I called her fat and insulted her. Honestly, I don't think I should pay for more alterations. When she first bought the dress, I paid like $200 to get parts tailored and hemmed. Granted, there wasn't much to do back then, and my sister was originally expecting the wedding to happen by May. But my sister and parents are demanding I pay for alterations. Otherwise, I'm cruel for making my sister trash her dream dress for something else that fits her, just because I won't pay a little more for alterations. I don't think I'm making her do anything, though. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for additional alterations at this point? Not the a-hole, largely on the basis that I cannot understand why she's having alterations done now, when the wedding's so far off. What will she do if she gains more weight? I'm a bit surprised she's apparently on the verge of trashing her dream dress over $600 when it costs $3,500. Is she really going to get a replacement for less than $600? And if she hasn't got $600 to spare, why on earth is she getting married? That said, you were somewhat insensitive in the way you addressed her weight gain, so you could possibly apologize very specifically for your bluntness, but certainly not anything else. I'm getting married to Jay in a few months. Jay has never been very close to his mother, but is starting to feel some guilt because some of the things he disliked her for. His dad also did, but got a pass. As Jay got older, he began to examine why he has such an issue with his mom, and he felt he held her to a higher standard because she is a woman. For example, neither parent was home much because they were both married to their careers, but he took that out on her over his dad. He apologized, and they have been trying to build a relationship. She got engaged a month before we did. The guy is kind of annoying, but as her sister said it, she finally found someone with as big of an ego as she has. So we were happy for her. When Jay proposed, she put her hand next to mine and giggled. I'm assuming she was showing off that her diamonds are like 3 times the size of mine. She then told us that we shouldn't get married because it is tacky to get married young, and said we both need an education. I have a job and I make okay money, but she thinks everyone needs a corner office and a fancy degree. I invited her wedding dress shopping because I feel bad for her. Jay is her only child. She was a decent mom, but they just aren't close. I went to a high-end boutique, but was clear with the consultant that I am a budget bride and was looking at the low end. I partly blame the consultant for this, but when she found out mother-in-law was engaged and saw the ring and probably her purse, she became much more interested in mother-in-law, lavishing compliments on her, asking for details. Mother-in-law told her about how she got proposed to, under a waterfall in Hawaii, and then added that she isn't very romantic, but she would have killed him if he did it how her son did, just sitting on the couch. I felt like that was really rude. Mother-in-law went to look at dresses for me with the consultant, but came back with one for her. She didn't even want a wedding dress, so this was gold and not very bridal. And she could have found something similar at a ton of bridal stores. She ended up getting the dress, and I felt that my special day had been hijacked. Her dress was 2.5 times my budget, and I get that the consultant just wanted to make the bigger sale, but it really pissed me off. After shopping, my maid of honor and my mom agreed that mother-in-law is a huge witch. She called me a couple days ago to talk about my wedding and offered to help with some stuff. I said after what she did at the bridal salon, she is not going to be involved in wedding planning. She ended up crying and said she wasn't surprised because she knows her son doesn't like her very much. I felt bad for her, but I am still pissed. Not the a-hole. I think the consultant ties with your future mother-in-law for biggest a-hole. If the consultant wanted to make a sale, she should have discreetly given your future mother-in-law her card and suggested meeting her another time. She clearly saw that she would get a bigger sale with future mother-in-law and ran with it. Your future mother-in-law sounds insufferable. She is actively insulting you and your fiancé by making unfavorable comparisons and saying crappy things. Buying herself a wedding dress on your wedding dress shopping outing was rude, but that was really just the icing on the cake. I think you should tell her that it's not just about the dress, but about the constant insults. Why would you want someone who insults you all the time involved with your wedding planning? Since I started dating my husband, she's been a witch to me and my children. But I've always turned the other cheek and told my daughters to ignore her bad attitude. Anyways, my husband and I had planned on taking a quick trip to Vegas and marrying there after my cancer treatment. But his mother begged us to do it at home, and her husband would officiate the wedding, just so they could all attend. I agreed, even though it was not what we had planned originally. So we give them a wedding date, and part of this was because my health insurance was running out, and I needed to be under his to continue after cancer treatments. Now, his sisters want the date to be changed, and asked if we could postpone due to one of their newborns not being vaccinated yet. We politely said no, or else I'd be without health insurance, and not to mention the fact that we already changed up our plans so they could attend. So wedding day gets here, and younger sister, the one that is spoiled and very entitled, gets to our house 4 hours after our wedding is supposed to have started. Of course, her mother had us wait till she got there to start, and I ended up losing my deposit on a small overnight spa and Broadway combo I had purchased for us as a honeymoon, since we couldn't go away. No apologies from anyone in the family. I was in shock. It was like our feelings didn't count, and neither did our day. She ruined my little simple wedding, and no apology. Her wedding was this huge expensive affair, but she just had to retaliate by ruining mine, just cause I wouldn't reschedule the date to a day she wanted. Am I right in thinking this was really crappy of all of them? Am I the a-hole for no longer going to their family functions, since the sister will always say or do something to make my children and I feel bad? Especially when no one is around to see it. Edit. For people commenting on me not sticking up for my kids. They never told me anything of her attitude towards them because I was going through cancer treatments and they didn't want me upset. Once I found out, I made sure she had no contact with them. For the ones asking why I didn't walk out, I needed to be married that day. We pushed it back for them instead of doing the Vegas, and I needed the marriage that weekend so my health insurance wouldn't cancel and my continued treatments. We did complain, but the father-in-law was officiating, and I was already suffering from pericarditis because of the radiation to my chest. Well, your husband is the a-hole here. How come he didn't stand up for you? I really can't comprehend. You have to argue with your hands tight to your back because they are your in-laws. Your husband should be the one in the line of fire because they are his family. He should have taken a stand on going to Las Vegas, and he should have taken a stand on not waiting for his sister. He should have respected and stood up for your wishes on what should be this special day for the both of you. How is he handling the aftermath? Cause I would have told both my sibling and my parents off. He can't act as if this has nothing to do with him. Me, female, and my male fiancé, A, are in our 20s and have been together 10 years. Wedding is postponed. A's parents have no retirement plans, savings, and lack financial planning. Every time money runs out, they've been very lucky, receiving several unexpected fortunes, almost $500K added up. They currently rent and getting their pensions soon. Probably their last windfall. I love his parents and don't care how they spend their money, but I'm afraid they're going to blow through it and be back at square one. I know they will turn to A, the oldest of 3 siblings that are still in school. A is very hardworking, but he's not earning much right now. Something my wealthy aunt does is give her niece and nephews $100K as wedding gifts. I was the only one she didn't help with education or financially, so my aunt's giving me $200K. My parents are matching this with $200K of their own, both on the condition that it will be used for a family home, furthering my or children's education, investment only. The spouses do not have access to this fund, even in case of divorce, so it's ultimately my inheritance. Normally, it's not disclosed to our partners until after marriage, but A now knows through my brother. Since finding out, A suggested using this inheritance to buy property in our name for his parents to live in until they're no longer around. I honestly don't feel right about this, as that's just not what my parents' aunt intended it for. My older parents worked hard for their success, and still work, to give us everything, and I feel guilty for wanting to keep it for its intended use. I have offered to give 20 to 30K of my own money as down payment on property in A's name. But his parents have to keep up the monthly payments themselves, as I'm not interested in owning it. He wasn't on board with this. I would rather invest it all and get my own place, as we currently live with my parents. My family home is 2 houses combined into one huge 6-bedroom house. One house is in my name and the other in my sister's name. It is my parents' home until they're no longer around, and I have no intention of ever selling. Because of this, I have no interest in purchasing a separate property. I do want to use my savings inheritance to expand and build my mom's dream kitchen as a thank you gift while she's still around to enjoy it. My parents love food, cooking, and entertaining, so it's something I really want to do for them. I see it as an investment, as I'm improving the family home that's also mine. I don't want my fiancé to see this decision as unfair. I want to discuss this with my fiancé, but I don't know how to not hurt his feelings, come off insensitive or not caring, doing more for his parents. I love them, but I don't think it's right that my parents, are paying to support them. I'm only prepared to go with my offer, as part of me also wants to force them to budget and plan out their pensions properly. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to use my inheritance to help my in-laws? Not the a-hole. But don't marry him. You have expressed several good reasons why you don't want to spend the money on his parents. But I also think that you're marrying into a family where your husband is going to expect you to contribute to the upkeep of his parents. If you are not okay with this, then you need to find another partner. So, my fiancé and I have been together for 5 years. I proposed January of last year and postponed our wedding due to COVID. I have been on a great relationship with her family, and her nieces and nephews like me, as well as her siblings. One of her sisters had a baby about 7 months ago, and I play with him sometimes. He likes me, and her sister asked me to watch him for a couple minutes while she went to go clean the garage with my fiancé. He was in a stroller and was getting fussy to get out. I picked him up and put him on my lap to play with the little baby piano thing. Fiancé's sister and her husband came back and gasped and took the baby right from me and asked when they gave me permission to hold him. I was taken aback and said, sorry, but I didn't know I needed to ask because my fiancé holds him all the time and never asked to. They told me it's because she's family and I'm not. And damn, that ducking stung. I told them sorry and that I wouldn't do it again because I didn't know it was a problem. They freaked out on me because how could you not know it would be a problem? That's ducking stupid. And they asked me to leave with my fiancé. I asked my fiancé where she stood, and she said they're being mean about it, but I shouldn't have done it in the first place. Am I crazy? How do you trust someone to watch your baby, but they can't hold them? Is this normal? Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. What the duck? Dear stranger, who we've known for 5 years, watch our baby, but don't touch him. Not the a-hole. What would their reaction have been if they came back and the baby was still in the stroller, but crying because he wanted to be out and play? Probably would have blamed you for not watching properly. Could you have played with little piano with him still in the stroller? Of course, but it wasn't specified to keep him in the stroller, just to keep an eye on him, which to most people means keep them safe, happy. Honestly, seems like no matter what you did, the mother was going to come back upset. The not being family comment cemented that. I have a twin sister who got married a year ago in August. My parents paid for her wedding dress. However, because of COVID, her big ceremony had to be canceled. She originally had planned to postpone the ceremony to this year in August, but is now heavily pregnant with her first child, so she canceled it altogether. Because of this, there is a stunning 4K wedding dress hanging in my parents' basement that has never been worn. So anyway, some weeks ago, I showed my mom some dresses I liked, and she ended up asking me why I wouldn't ask my sister to wear her wedding dress, since it hasn't been worn. Well, while my sister wouldn't have a problem with that as far as I know her, there is a problem. While my sister is the exact same height as me, she was doing cardio every single day and weighed 125 pounds when she got married. I am 165 pounds. I am already exercising and dieting, but losing 40 pounds is not my goal at all. So I told my mom that despite loving my sister's dress, I wouldn't wear it because I wasn't planning to get that skinny, and because it would probably be way too cold since it's a summer dress and my wedding is set for January. My mom basically snapped at me, saying she can't believe I'd rather let that dress rot in the basement than just lose a little more weight and buy a jacket, and that I shouldn't even dare to ask her to buy yet another dress. I didn't really respond to that yet. Conversation was over chat, and quickly changed the subject. While I am kind of floored that my mom will not pay for my dress as well, my dad is quiet about the subject, since I assumed it would be kind of fair if they did for all of their daughters. I continued looking for dresses to buy one for myself. So yesterday I told my mom I would buy my own dress and asked her to make some time to look at dresses, and she blew up again, saying that she couldn't believe that I wouldn't just make sister's dress work and basically calling me an inconsiderate, lazy brat. My sister and fiancé are on my side and say that my mother is being ridiculous because it isn't my fault that the dress had never been worn, and admitting it would be really hard to make it work. My fiancé also said he would also prefer me not to get that skinny. My dad just said it would be nice if my sister's dress wouldn't go to waste, but didn't say much else. My mom brought her mother and her sister on her side, who since texted me calling me bratty as well. Not the a-hole. Guess you're going dress shopping without your mom. Ask her to wear the dress for a vow renewal with your dad if she's that keen on it.